Hello, I'm Tylah Tully, and today I'm joined by Mount Hope Mining Managing Director Fergus Kiley. Fergus, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks, Tyler. Looking forward to it.
So, for people who aren't familiar, where's the Cobar region and why has it become such an important mining district over time?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So Cobar is located in central west New South Wales. There's been a lot of mining activity that's occurred throughout Cobar for in excess of over a century. So copper was first discovered there in the mid-1800s. In fact, Cobar's genesis actually predates even Broken Hill, which is another famous and long-dated mining area for New South Wales. Cobar itself it's pretty special. It's known for its Cobar style mineralisation. So it's this hybrid, structurally controlled, high grade polymetallic style deposits. So yeah, it's got a lot to offer and it's got a really rich history, and that's why a lot of people have been fascinated by it and operating in the area for quite some time.
So what is it about Cobar's geology that makes it different to other Australian mining regions, and what types of deposits and metals does it host?
As I mentioned just before, it's got a long history of these high-grade polymetallic style deposits, and that's along with the structurally hosted nature is what makes Cobar quite unique. Cobar is a extensional basin setting, so a lot of the mineralisation and a lot of the well-known deposits are located on these northwest and north trending shear zones and structures. And so that, coupled with the high-grade polymetallic nature, makes them an explorer's dream, really, and produces some really high-grade deposits. The CSA mine, for example, in the northern part of the basin, which recently sold from Matt Copper to Harmony, is a really high-grade structurally hosted copper deposit. It's got a reserve grade of 4% copper, and it's one of the highest grade copper mines in operation in the entire world. So the area is known for these really high-grade deposits, and so it's quite special and unique from that perspective.
And there's been a renewed interest in Cobar in the recent years. What do you see as the key drivers behind this?
Cobar itself, it's got such a long history of mining activity, but in the recent years, it's going through a bit of a renaissance as people are sort of rediscovering some of the really good aspects about it. I mentioned before that there's a lot of polymetallic style mineralisation, so think copper, silver, gold, lead and zinc. The region's synonymous with producing these metals over its time. And so I think a lot of investors and explorers have found that there's a natural affinity to those polymetallic areas because it provides opportunity in many different cycles. So for example, if copper is having a good run, then it offers that exposure. If gold's having a good run, etc. So it has a natural sort of defensibility about it from an investor perspective. And also the fact that they have been mining there for over 150 years demonstrates that you can access good geology, you can permit mines, you can put things into production. It's a place that the local stakeholders understand mining exceptionally well. So, the backbone of the economy out there is mining. And so people want it to exist in that area. And so I think it's just offering people an opportunity to be involved with a basin that's sort of being rediscovered as this really high grade polymetallic mining front in Australia.
So from Mount Hope Mining's perspective, working on the ground in this belt, how are you engaging with those regional themes and where do you see the most interesting opportunities emerging?
Yeah, so look, Mount Hope is, I guess, our expression of these investment themes, the things that make Cobar a really unique jurisdiction. We've got high-grade polymetallic opportunity within our tenure. The Mount Hope project itself is a historic mining jurisdiction, so centred around the Mount Hope copper mine. The Mount Hope copper mine itself was a very high-grade copper mine, a previous producer that was producing at over 10.5% copper back in the day. There's also some high-grade gold mines around as well, so we've got that polymetallic nature. The structural complexity in our area is significant. We've got some of those north-south structures that I was talking about earlier that are important for controlling mineralisation. So our tenure is in the right place from a geological perspective. And from an infrastructure perspective, there's significant amounts of latent infrastructure that surrounds us. There's paved roads that run through the centre of our tenure. We've got rail sidings. We're just south of the gas pipeline. And importantly, Cobar has 7 different mills, either in operation or in care and maintenance at the moment. Each one of those mills is within 200 kilometres of our tenements. So there's a clear path forward for us if we were to find mineralisation of significant opportunity, that we have a path forward to potentially monetise via toll treating or an ore purchase agreement with one of those projects. Or if the deposit is large enough on a standalone basis, well then we can build and permit a mine in that area as well, as demonstrated by the significant amount of mining activity in that area. So we just think that the Mount Hope project is a clear representation of all those investment thematics that make Cobar so special, and that's why we're so excited to be exploring that ground.
Yeah, it's definitely a really exciting project. Looking ahead, how do you see the Cobar story evolving from here, and what should investors be looking out for in the region?
I would say that the thing that's most important is that other investors are standing up and taking a look at the area. Cobar is quite unique because it's attracted a significant amount of corporate activity recently. Cobar might not be as well known, for example, as some of the other great mining areas in Australia, like the Pilbara or the Yilgarn, but there are some significant deals and value stories that have been created there in recent history. I mentioned before the CSA mine that Matt Copper recently sold to Harmony Gold for US $1.1 billion. So the basin has the ability to produce some significant discoveries, some really high grade opportunities that have been mined for in excess of 150 years. So we're talking about really long dated opportunities, and it attracts all these different types of investors, whether it's mining corporates like Harmony, for example, or resource investors, people who are looking to put money to work in the equities in this place. So we feel that we're sitting right in the heart of the rediscovery of the Cobar Basin, a high-grade polymetallic basin. We've got exceptional tenure. We're on the doorstep of 7 different mines that are all looking for potentially more feed, and we've got the right geology to potentially produce the next discovery in the basin. And we just come off the back of our first drill program, which produced exceptional gold results at our Mount Solitary project. So we're really excited about where we sit, and we think the basin itself is just going through this renaissance that people are really starting to take notice of. So it's a really exciting place to be.
Thanks so much for your time today, Fergus.
Cheers.
For more ASX news and analysis, subscribe below.